Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. Little flock, you just forgot who you are, and that's the sin. See how quiet it got after I said that? You just forgot who you was. That's the sin. If they remember themselves and the land where they be held captive. So you just forgot who you was. That's the sin. That's what's got you held captive. You forgot who I am. Now, if you forgot who you was, you forgot I am, didn't you? Now, what's God's name? So that's all it was. And if you remember who you are, then there won't be any sin anymore. Now, if you forgot who you was and you did all that stuff that you did, can you be held guilty for what you did when you didn't know who you was? Wowie wee, grandson, you're trying to pull the whack-a-mole and smack the devil on his head. Well, we like seeing that guy with stars and birds until he's DEAD with not at all in his system. We love serving him up not at all, and that's what we're going to do today. You just forgot. And when you forget, that's when you do something that you ain't got no business doing. And it's okay, see, because you didn't know who you was when you did it. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. If they knew, then they wouldn't do it then. That's an easy math equation. Thank you, Abba. So then who must you be if you do all that wicked stuff when you don't know who you is? What must Abba be telling us here? Who must he be telling us that we are? He was like, don't think about what you're going to eat. Don't think about what you're going to wear. Well, that sounds like a spirit. Well, your father is a spirit. And he is in you, he said. So, let's get this right. When we say the Most High, we may as well say the Most In. When we say the Most High, we may as well be saying the Most In, for that is where he is in the most innermost part of self. I am. He's in the innermost part of there. He is the root of who I am. Therefore, he is the offspring, or in other words, the visible manifestation of who I am. That's the goal for each and every one of you. Well, if you don't know who I am, then you can't physically manifest I am. In Christ's words, you're not letting your light shine. Light means truth and life. So he was the light of men. He was the truth of what a man was all along. That a man is nothing, the spirit is everything. Abba's the truth of that. The innermost part of you is a spirit. It is the root of your creation and being. It is the source, in other words, of your existence, of your I amness. See? When you say I am, it is the root of that. Now, what are you going to put after? In other words, the manifest of it. What are you going to say it is? Something true or something that's a lie? Now, think about your life and think about all the things that you did that gave you a wound. What did you do that gave yourself a wound? Now, you all have it. You all have a harakiri in Japanese. You all have it. Seppuku. A self-inflicting wound. self-inflicting death wound. More specifically, a harakiri. That's what we all have done. You see? When we have done what we call a sin. Well, you only did, or in other words, manifested an act due to your root being corrupted. You don't know. That's why you're doing the act you're doing. See? You don't know. Your flesh, you're still thinking that's you. That's all it is. I told you, you forgot. See how it's all going? You forgot you were a spirit. Now, consider yourself that you're a spirit today. Consider that right now. Would a spirit need food? Would the spirit need sleep? Does the spirit need something to drink? Does the spirit need someone else? Is the spirit provoked by any outside source? Does the spirit lack anything? Can the spirit become diseased? Now, consider I am spirit. Really consider it. And now, consider what Yahusha said. Take no thought of what you shall eat or drink, or what you shall put on. Don't be like the Gentiles, because these things the Gentiles seek. What is a Gentile? A spirit who is tiled in a flesh body. So he believes he is tiled. He believed he is that body. He believed that that is who I am, the body. And so he lived according to that way of thinking. So Yahusha wanted to remind you all that you weren't bodies of flesh. You're actually spirits. You're actually gods. He said, is it not written in your law that you are gods? So then why are y'all acting like men? Do 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 do. Why, when someone does something wrong, you feel like you have to take your hand and kill them with it? Instead of just know that if they offend the spirit and keep offending the spirit won't continue to strive with them. It will leave. Do, 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 do. Okay? That's just the reality of it. My spirit won't always strive with man. You hear that word, strive? What do the word strive mean? Since he says his spirit won't always strive with man, right? Strive means to make great effort to achieve or obtain something. To make great effort to obtain something. To devote serious effort and energy to an endeavor. To struggle in opposition or contend. So now, when you have a champion, okay, And then you have a number one contender, or the word Abba is using here, a number one striver. Y'all see how that goes? Then he fights the champion for the belt, the championship. Abba spirit is inside of you, and it is fighting for the championship belt. Do you see it? And when the champion comes into Jerusalem, the number one contender, I should say, comes in to take the championship, the members of that body slay the king and put their champion back up there again. The fans kill the rightful champion and put their champion up there anyway. Do you hear this or do you not hear it? Remember when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury had their 3 fights? And there's this controversy to this day about Tyson Fury cheating? He's already been caught using steroids. He was banned for using steroids. He was also caught positive for cocaine. He was banned for using that substance as well. He also said he wanted to kill himself, commit suicide, and he went into a bender and almost died on overdosing, and he blew up and got all fat and everything. Does this sound like a true champion to you? Now, Deontay Wilder has never been caught on steroids. He's never been caught on cocaine. He's never talk about committing suicide and wanting to kill himself and talking about going on a bender and all this other. And he never was caught cheating with his gloves. Tyson Fury was actually caught in a match and had to get his glove adjusted by the referee because his thumb wasn't even in the glove when the fight was going to start. His sparring partner caught him using gloves without padding in it when he sparred him. This is stacked up stuff against this man, but yet he's the champion today. The people said, we saw the evidence that he cheated. We saw the evidence that he used steroids, which that means he's putting other men's lives at risk. Murderer, see? A thief, a cheater. And that's who they say is their champion. So this is what I'm explaining to you about you and your body. When the truth comes, you fight it off, which causes striving, a contending to continue to ensue when there shouldn't be any contending. The spirit is the king. He shall rule. He is the king, the rightful king. So then my suggestion to you today is to let him live in you. So there's no longer a striving, because you only have a certain amount of time of striving. Didn't he say that? It used to be a long time. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And then he cut it down to 120 years. Then he said 70 years. And if by strength, 80. So that means the time is getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter of this contending. And as you can see around you, a lot of people are choosing the Barabbas over Christ, and they're dying. That's all it means. They're actually choosing it. And they're doing it ignorantly. They think they're saving. So the only way you can be saved is to know the truth that you must give yourself so that you may obtain life. The only one that told you that was Christ. That was Yahushua. That was the Nazareth. You see? Nazar. That means truth. You hear me? Nazarite. Nazar. Yahushua the Nazar. The truth. The Nazar. Nazarite. By birth. A truth teller by birth. You see? So the truth teller, mark of a truth teller, Nazarite, vow to purify himself and let the Spirit. What's up, my brother? You see? Purify ourselves and be who we be, and then our light will shine and will be recognized. And you see, we are all one body, so we are to lift each other up to the light. Remember the light. That's all it is, brother. Remember. When you go get out with your brother, don't strive with him. Just appease to him to remember. That's it. And that's what's happening here. No longer a striving, because the king is the king. So there's no reason to strive of this. It's just reminding you so that you choose the true king. You see? The one who chose you. That's all it is. Returning to where you were. You were chosen in the beginning. It's not that you're being chosen now. You were chosen in the beginning. You see? So it's about time you just remember that. Or else you wouldn't have the Ruach in you giving you life, which is his grace giving you an opportunity to choose him. And so when we say give up our life, what do we mean? It means giving up your anger of something that has happened to you. It means giving up your wrath. It means giving up your maliciousness towards others and your bitterness. That's what it means to give your life up. You see? To give up vanity, the life of vanity. Now, does it actually benefit you to be malicious? Now, what is the payment for your maliciousness? Let's say it was a girl said something to you on Facebook that you didn't like, sister. So you went and found her location and you beat her up. Now, what is the payment for that? That you reap what you sow. So what did you pay yourself? A great ass whooping. And why did you pay yourself that? Because of your own pride. So I told you, the head on this dragon, the most powerful head, is pride. We want to give that last head, that last blow, and it's pride, vainglory, searching for something that you'll never ever have, just like that nigga's doing. Who? The damn dragon. He ain't gonna never have what he's looking for. Now, what do you mean, grandson? That means your man, your flesh, will never have what it's looking for. I can guarantee you. Keep giving it to it and watch. It's going to keep asking. Watch. Whatever you give it, it will ask for more of it. I guarantee you. So now that you know that, then I want to ask you, what is the bottomless pit? What's the bottomless pit? The bottomless pit is your body, your flesh. The eye is never filled with seeing. Is that a bottomless pit then? The ear is never filled with hearing. So is that a bottomless pit? So then what do? We close it off. See, we seal over the top of the pit so that nothing can fall into it again. Nothing can fall into your eye if it's sealed. Nothing can fall into your ear if it's sealed. Now, the only way it's sealed means it's dead. The flesh has to die. That's the way it's working. Because that's the bottomless pit. It's going, and now watch, open it up and see. Open your flesh up and see. Watch this. A young girl, virgin, hymen intact, pure as the driven snow. She meets a boy who she falls for. She gives herself to this boy. This boy doesn't care for her though. He doesn't love her. He has no true feelings for her. He just likes the way she looks. He doesn't honor her virginity, so he takes the virginity from her and then leaves her desolate. Doesn't make her his wife or anything. Well, that causes a seed of bitterness, vindictiveness, malice, whoredom, to grow. Self-hatred and loathing, self-loathing. As that plant grows, she's going to water it and feed it, which means she's going to have to go to the fountains to get the water, if you understand what I'm telling you. And she's going to continue to pour the water down to feed that plant, and it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And the fruit of it is death. So she has now become a whore. Now her body count, which was 0, but she loved one man, gave herself to that one man, and he harmed it. And she won't forgive him because what he did was indeed wrong, and she justifies her not forgiving him because it's wrong. It doesn't matter if it's wrong that you forgive. It doesn't matter if what they did was right. You forgive. It doesn't matter. What you think don't matter. It's what Abba thinks. What does Abba think? He thinks forgive. What does he suggest? Forgive. So then what's all this debating? Who's doing the debating? If you're dead, then you're not dead. See how that works? That's just your test of your body. Your hymen doesn't make you who you are. Your body doesn't make you who you are. And until you realize that, you will stay a whore. And that's an example that I'm using because it's an easy example that we all have beheld. Why won't she stop? Because she's feeding something that's growing, and it must die so that she can feed the true plant in her, the true her that she actually is, despite what has happened. Your flesh doesn't determine you. Your spirit does. For it is the only thing that is you. It's the only thing that actually is you. So if it is the only thing that actually is you, then the flesh is nothing. So then why are you holding people accountable for what they've done to your flesh or what you've done in the flesh? It is all vanity what is done in the flesh. Everything done under the sun is vanity. And to make it even more obvious, it is less than vanity. So when you're called to forgive, forgive. Don't war, because when you war, then you're living. You want to be dead in the flesh and living in the spirit. The spirit says forgive. So then if you're warring with forgiving, you're warring with the spirit. You're striving. And that means that you're the flesh. You will lose. And you will give yourself a wound, which is what that girl keeps giving herself. He did this to me, so now I can't forgive me. And then now it's not my fault for what he did to me, so it's his fault. And this dilemma goes on in her internally, eternally, until she is set free by the truth. Nothing was done. You still are exactly what you were. You have not changed because the spirit cannot change. It cannot be defiled. It cannot be. You understand that? The flesh already is defiled. It already is corrupted. It is called corruption. When we came here, we put on the body of corruption. Now tell me somebody who's been in a body that has not corrupted. A body of flesh, excuse me, that is not corrupted. So what is written? That we will put off this body of corruption and put on the body of incorruption, the spiritual body that we had in the beginning, that we are right now, that we will be. Do you hear it? Why do you think when Stephen was being stoned, he looked steadfastly up into heaven, and his face was as the face of an angel, and he beheld Abba Yah in his glory, and the Son sitting at his right hand? He was being received into heaven. So what does that mean? That means that Stephen was perfected in his spirit. Doesn't it say he was full of the Spirit? You see? So the flesh could no longer hold. So he broke free. That's all it means. They disagreed with Stephen. That's stoning. They disagreed with him, but he still ascended. What did it stop from him being received into heaven after being made perfect? I told you, martyrdom is giving up your life. Christ gave his life for you. So by his stripes you healed. You ain't striped by his stripes. That ain't how that goes. You hear me? By his stripes you are healed. Stop for a second and let that get on down up into your bone and your marrow. By his stripes you are healed. Now what do that mean? That means what he suffered heals you. You see that? That's what it means. But who has believed this, what I'm telling you today? That this is how to enter into the rest that you've been looking for, is dying to your carnal life in the flesh. Who has believed that? And to whom is the arm of Abba revealed? You see? Who can know this, what I'm telling you? About our Master, who hath no form nor comeliness, that when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men. The spirit is despised and hated. The flesh is adored and loved and adorned, isn't it? Not the inward that is beautiful in the sight of Abba Yah, it is written. But what does it say? It says, we esteemed him not. We hid our faces from him. But surely he has borne our griefs. See? And carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of El, and afflicted. You see? But he was wounded for our forgetting, for our going astray, for our losing faith. He was wounded. He was bruised for our unfairness. You see, the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. See, because all of us, like sheep, have gone astray. Y'all know that. Each one of us, like I have described to you today in your hearing. And Abba Yah hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. You see, he was oppressed and afflicted, but he opened not his mouth. And he was brought as a lamb to the slaughter. And what is written of him? That he opened not his mouth. He was taken from the prison, from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. The spirit was rejected in this world for the flesh, and everybody lived according to the flesh, and feasted and filled themselves up with things of the flesh, and forgot the spirit who gave them life. For the transgression of my people was he stricken, and he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. He was right alongside you, rich man, the whole time. He was right alongside you, wicked man. When you cried out about the wicked things you done, he was right there with you, crying out. For he is in you, and he is you. Because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased Abba to bruise him. He has put him to grief. And when you shall make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, and he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Abba shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. You see that? Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul unto death. And he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. So you, man, woman, child, whoever's listening, when you did the wrong that you did, or suffered the wrong that you suffered, he suffered. He bare it, because you were supposed to die that day. So if you continue to live, it is only because of the Spirit in you. Continue to strive for you to be your champion today. Let him be your champion today, and you will never fall or lose any battle as long as you let the King Yahusha, the Nazarite, Nazar, be your king. You will never fall. Siloam, Isra'Ella. You are loved, little flock. You are given grace and mercy. So rest in it today.